Good evening from Ian Crocker and Dean Saunders watching Aston Villa plot a route to the UEFA Cup, and this is where it starts as they take on the Danes of Odense in the Intertoto Cup. Aston Villa certainly had plenty to shout about last season. The big boys may have given them a few lessons and points were spectacularly squandered on the road, but overall the signs were encouraging. Villa finished 6th in the Premier League, giving them a glimpse of Europe via the Intertoto Cup, and that's why they're in Denmark tonight. Some players have moved on and one more wants to move on. The Gareth Barry saga continues, but keeper Brad Friedel's imminent switch from Blackburn should please Villa fans, and Steve Sidwell has already arrived from Chelsea for £5 million as Martin O'Neill goes about making the smallest squad in the Premier League much, much bigger. Well, this match is about to be encrypted, and so to continue watching you can subscribe right now for £12.99 a month, no annual contract required. The fastest and easiest way to subscribe is at setanta.com, or you can press the red button, or you can call us. The new season beckons on Setanta Sports, and you won't want to miss that. Some familiar names at Odense. Veteran defender Thomas Helveg played with Martin Laursen at Milan and for Denmark many times. Bjorn Runstrom was released by Fulham at the end of last season, and on the bench they have a former Villa man, Djemba-Djemba, who only joined this week. He spent 2.5 years at Villa Park, although you might not have noticed him. Another sub is Bisgaard, once of Derby County. No Scott Carson or Thomas Sorensen this season. Brad Friedel's arrival from Blackburn is imminent, but Stuart Taylor is in goal for now. Craig Gardner has recovered from a groin injury, so he covers that problem right back role, as he often did last season. Steve Sidwell has made a £5 million move from Chelsea, and there's a potent and familiar attacking threat from Ashley Young, John Carew and Gabby Agbonlahor. Well, the Intertoto Cup will be discontinued after this season. I don't suppose it'll be missed much, but Aston Villa haven't finished with it quite yet. The winners of this tie go into the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup, and if they get through that, they're in the first round proper. The Intertoto is not like it was in its early years, when you had to play about 100 games to get as far as the UEFA Cup. These days, it's well worth a crack, especially for a club like Aston Villa, Dean. A club of their size and stature should be playing regularly in serious European competition.
Well, yeah, Villa's a massive club, and obviously I played for Villa for 3 years, so I know how big a club it is, and they want success. I mean, last year was a good season, and this year they'll be hoping to build on that. I think the squad's not big enough at the moment, but I'm sure Martin O'Neill's working his hardest to try and get some more players in.
Odense are pretty used to this competition, as we see again, confirmation of their team. The number 9 Senegalese striker Djiby Fall scored 3 goals in the last round of this competition when they saw off TPS Turku of Finland. It's the 6th time that Odense have been in the Intertoto Cup. They've only got through it once, but Aston Villa, they're in this competition for the 4th time, and no English side has appeared in the Intertoto more than Villa. They were in it 3 seasons running, in fact, back at the start of this decade. There is Fall, who is certainly a potent goal-scoring threat for them. So that's the way Aston Villa will line up, although we might see Ashley Young perhaps probably a bit more behind the front too, Dean.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to the system he played last season, where Petrov played just in front of the back 4 at times, and Gareth Barry played to the left in a diamond shape. Ashley Young played behind the front 2, and Reo-Coker made the right side of the diamond. So that looks probably his best option, because I don't think Reo-Coker's a right winger, and definitely playing behind him, Craig Gardner's not a right back, but for the last 12 months he's had to play there, so I'm sure Martin will be trying to get a right back in.
Martin Laursen is back in his homeland. Aston Villa's player of the year last season, and one of the most outstanding defenders in the Premier League for sure. He rarely put a foot wrong, and he's up against a close pal of his today in Thomas Helveg. They were together many times in the Danish national team and at AC Milan as well. Italian referee, Andrea Di Marco. The sun is shining on the island of Funen, on which Odense stands. Until last year, their manager was a former Aston Villa player, Reo-Coker. He's moved on to Aalborg now. Martin O'Neill will certainly be making a few additions to this Aston Villa squad. Short on numbers. Brad Friedel due to move from Blackburn, and others will follow. The man in charge of Odense is Lars Olsen, who replaced Bruce Reo-Coker, former captain of Denmark many a time. It is Odense who kick us off. Aston Villa hoping for a decent result here ahead of the second leg, which you can see with us again at Villa Park in a week's time. Craig Gardner once again in that right back role, and the right back will certainly be top of Martin O'Neill's priorities before the season starts.
Yeah, but Aston Villa's biggest threat are the strikers, really. The pace of them are going to be hard to contain today. You know, you've got Carew, who surprised me last year, being so quick. Ashley Young and Agbonlahor. If they get the right service today, I think they'll have too much for this Danish team.
Chris Sorensen will take this throw. Here is Haaland. It's the first time Aston Villa have faced Danish opponents in a European competition. That night called upon, helped on its way by Gardner. Haaland. Away by Martin Laursen.
Just a quiet start to the game. I think just feeling each other out. I think the two centre-backs of Odense will be fully aware of the pace they're up against today. I'm sure they won't want to get caught early on with the ball over the top.
Aston Villa playing in Europe for the first time in 6 years since John Gregory's side lost to Lille of France, also in the Intertoto. Just 2 rounds to get through before the UEFA Cup proper. And John Carew have a little kick then.
Well, Carew, he is a handful for anybody. I mean, that just shows it there. He's prepared to run down the channels. I watched him play against Birmingham last season. He tore Birmingham's defence to shreds with his pace and power, and once he gets in them situations there, he's very difficult to cope with. I didn't think it was a foul, by the way. I thought it was a bit harsh.
Some notable names are in Intertoto action this weekend, along with Aston Villa, the likes of Deportivo La Coruña, Stuttgart and Napoli. Reo-Coker will leave that for Gardner. Reo-Coker played at right back at Lincoln in midweek. Not a position he favours either. He had to play in that role at Old Trafford last season. The less said about that result, the better.
Well, he won't want to be out here on the right wing either. He'll want Gardner bombing around the outside of him if possible.
Gardner's throw, aimed towards Carew. Ashley Young will chase it. And Thomas Helveg, the vastly experienced Dane, will marshal that behind.
Yeah, but the danger signs are there already. You can't let Carew have the ball thrown into his body like that. They've got to get someone in front of Carew. That's 2 balls he's held up, and they've got crosses out of it. So they're going to have to, I would imagine their manager will be up off the bench shouting that now.
Odense's keeper is Polish, and their manager, Lars Olsen, won 84 caps for Denmark, a record 69 of those as captain of his country. Sorensen. Wearing 10 for Odense, Bjorn Runstrom, who spent the last couple of years at Fulham, although never got much of a look in there.
It's been a complete turnaround at Fulham. I mean, there's probably 100 players gone through there in the last 2 years.
Too true.
No, that Villa team looks good. You know, you look at it there and it looks a good team, but underneath, very short of players. You know, you get to Christmas and you haven't got enough players of quality to bring in, you start losing games you should be winning, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the bottom half of the league.
Yes, on the bench for Villa tonight, Marlon Harewood, Mustafa Salifou, Wayne Routledge, Isaiah Osbourne, Sean Maloney, and a couple of kids, Nathan Baker and young keeper Elliot Parish. Hansen. There's a bold attempt by Johan Absalonsen.
Obviously there's a bit of a problem there with Gareth Barry at the moment. I mean, he's imminent move to Liverpool. We don't know the ins and outs, but it'll be a massive blow to lose him because, you know, personally I think he's a great player. I mean, all the players who play with him, I know for a fact think he's a great player, so that'll be a blow if he leaves.
Reo-Coker, not sure Martin O'Neill would have given Gareth Barry a game today, but Barry picked up a slight injury anyway on his return to training. Probably best to stay as far away from his manager as he can at the moment. Gardner with his throw. Petrov. Gardner's cross. And it's saved, but John Carew will fire in the rebound, and it's a perfect start for Aston Villa. Just what they wanted as they begin their European exploits.
It's a fantastic start for Villa. Two fantastic, but the throws come in too easy, but the fantastic technique there from Young. Great save, and that's great technique from Carew. He's Johnny on the spot. That's what all good goal scorers do. The ball seems to come to him in the 6-yard box. He's in there. He's anticipated it. It's an awkward one. He's leaning back, but he knew he could get it in the roof of the net if his technique was right. So it's a great start for Villa.
This is a man who scored 18 goals in the Champions League for his various clubs. Slumming it in the Intertoto Cup at the moment. But John Carew has given Villa an early lead, much to Martin O'Neill's delight.
Now, Ian, the danger signs were there with these throw-ins. That's 3 throw-ins they've had, and 3 throw-ins they've thrown in far too easily to people. It's a simple layback, a good cross, and Ashley Young would have pleased his manager no end because he's in the D where his manager would want him, and that's what's given the goal to Carew, really, just by him being in the D.
Sidwell, and Onyszko came out as the flag stayed down. Agbonlahor and Carew and Young already posing problems for Odense.
Yeah, it's brilliant goalkeeping from the keeper there. He's only come out and got there before Agbonlahor, but that's as good as making a save. If he stays on his line, he might have ended up having to make a save, so that's great goalkeeping for me.
Here is Young. Reo-Coker. Steve Sidwell. Wilfred Bouma, who reported back late for pre-season training after playing at Euro 2008 in Holland. Played half the game at Lincoln the other night. So Odense with foul, looking for a quick response. That's a very decent tackle. Sidwell, and now Agbonlahor.
Taking a chance backing away from Agbonlahor there. I mean, Odense at the minute, they need the smelling salts. They've just took one square on the chin, and they could take another few more if they don't get the thoughts together and get a bit of resolve in that defence and try and ride this storm. Villa could go for the kill here and end the tie.
So an early setback for Lars Olsen. you want, though, when you come away in Europe, and Odense do kick off their Danish Superliga season next week, so they were always bound to be a little bit ahead of Aston Villa as far as fitness is concerned.
Yeah, Martin O'Neill would have done some planning for this game, a lot of planning. You know, John Robertson and all the coaching staff, they would have looked at this game, and it still doesn't turn out how you think it's going to be. They go 1-0 up, and now it's the case: do we go for another one, which I think they could get another quick one here, or do they start saying, right, let's keep the ball now? But they would have expected a bit more of this from the Danish side.
Well, Ashley Young almost got his name on the score sheet. His effort saved by Onyszko, but the rebound rattled in by Carew. Bouma's free kick. Carew for Agbonlahor. That was diverted on Ruud, was it?
Yeah, it was deflected wide, but once again, you can't let Carew come off you. He's either getting them on his chest or he's flicking them on. They're backpedaling. This defence is backpedaling. They've got to get up the pitch and get a bit tighter to the Villa strikers.
Well, it was a definite deflection, and no wonder Agbonlahor looked rather perturbed, but he didn't get a corner.
It was a definite corner. You know, you're out on the pitch, you can't believe the referee's not give it. That's one of them situations. I know we're trying to cut bad language out of football and everything. That's one of them situations where the players find it really difficult not to swear.
This game given an additional twist this week when Djemba-Djemba joined up with Odense on Wednesday. And he's on the bench. Odense threatening now with Absalonsen, but Villa soon sorted him out. And here goes Reo-Coker. Runstrom was unable to keep it in.
It's good play from Reo-Coker. That's what his game's all about. He gets the ball off the other team as quickly as possible. Sidwell's similar.
Sorensen. The Senegalese striker foul. It's certainly big and strong. The free kick will go Steve Sidwell's way. Sidwell may not have got much of a look in at Chelsea, but he was terrific in his time at Reading, and he will be an excellent acquisition for Villa, that's for sure, as Ashley Young looks to go on a run.
I must say Villa look sharp. They're first to every ball, every loose ball. Sidwell gets there first again, every flick on. Seems to be a Villa player on the end of it.
Carew, his own man Agbonlahor in the way. Foul has lost it. Now that would have been quite a story if Martin Laursen had scored in his homeland from there.
Yeah, he's been reading too many comics there, Laursen. He's a centre-back. Just get back and head it and tackle. That's your job. Pass it to those who can play.
He did score a few goals last season, but not from that range, I think we could safely say.
No, they scored a lot of goals from set pieces last season. I'm sure they're going to do the same again this season. Martin O'Neill's team specialise in it. He's an important part.
Word of warning for GB foul.
Well, some you give, some you don't in that situation. Having played striker myself, sometimes you try and, you know, just back into the centre-backs and make it difficult for them, and the referee sometimes doesn't give it, sometimes they do, but I think it was a foul.
It's the third time that Odense have faced English opposition in European competition. They lost to Liverpool in 1983. Kenny Dalglish saw them off. They lost to Arsenal in 1993, although only just on that occasion. Now here they are, a goal down early on to Martin O'Neill's Aston Villa.
Well, they are playing a diamond shape in midfield with Reo-Coker there on the ball. Sidwell just getting a bit further forward. Ashley Young just floating where he wants. And Petrov sitting.
Agbonlahor has fed Reo-Coker, but he can't quite pick out Carew, who applauds the idea.
I thought he chose the wrong option there. I don't think Carew was ready for that type of pass. He wanted it into his feet, but you get these misunderstandings.
Agbonlahor, there's Gardner nearby. Blackburn took part in the Intertoto last season, but didn't get very far in it, beaten by the Greek side Larissa. Aston Villa hoping for better fortune and certainly going about it in the right way. John Carew already putting them in front.
Well, if I'd be a worried man if I was Mr. Olsen right now. This back four of his, he's got to get him up the pitch. They're conceding far too much ground. They're leaving too much space in front of him for Villa strikers. He's got to, although they're nervous of the pace, they've got to get up the pitch and try and condense that space between the midfield and themselves.
It's Bouma then to float that free kick in. Petrov. Bouma again. Carew. He's lost out to Hansen, and I think that might just be a free kick.
Yeah, it's a foul. No need for it really, but once you do that, you've got to give it. Carew's just tired there, just made a couple of runs, and then he's having to go to the referee.
Well, why not? Still on Petrov for Wilfred Bouma. Carew and Young. Bouma. Sidwell. Gardner hoisting it high, and once again that defence is caught out. Agbonlahor loitering with intent.
Well, they're all over the place, and someone's going to marshal them four defenders. Someone's going to make a decision: do we go up or do we go back? Because now they don't know whether to stick or twist.
Petrov. Sidwell.
That's a chance. He'll be disappointed with that. That is a chance. It's coming across him on his right foot, exactly where you want him. You practice these in training all day. It's not an easy chance. It's easy to hit the target, and he should have hit the target.
Steve Sidwell has already seen more European action this season than he did last season. He only got to play 6 minutes in the Champions League as a sub for Chelsea.
Well, he made the decision to go there, and he knew what was in front of him and what players were in front of him. So, I mean, he's not played much football for 12 months, and I'm sure he'll be pleased to play. Aston Villa's a great club. I'm sure he'll enjoy it there. The fans will take to him. He's a wholehearted player. He gets his foot in like he does there. Gets him wrong now and again, but he can play a bit as well.
Definitely a great signing for Martin O'Neill. He's given away a free kick here, though. Having said that, here is Hansen, and foul. No great power on the header. It's safely clutched by Stuart Taylor.
Well, that's a chance. I mean, if that's a Premier League centre forward, you might have seen that nestle in the far corner. Just needed to loop that over the keeper. He's not directed it the right way, and it was easy for Taylor in the end. But slack marking.
Odense finished 4th in the Danish Superliga last season. They had a poor run-in, didn't win any of their last 5 games.
They look a bit shell-shocked at the moment. I mean, early goal, worst possible start for them. Great start for Villa, but now they don't know whether to get tight with Carew or risk Agbonlahor running behind them, or do we drop off? And they've decided to drop off.
They've not been able to get to grips with this game yet, Odense. saw Manchester City claim a comfortable victory in their UEFA Cup qualifier the other night in the Faroes. Might have won by more, but still did the job at 2-0. Aston Villa will be hoping for a similar sort of lead to take into the home leg. Christensen. That'll be cut out by Bouma, and here is Laursen.
Well, there's an example there. Sometimes, you know, I was at Newcastle when we played. We had 15 games we had to play to get through to the.
Just the 15.
Went on forever. But these teams, the last pass is not there, or the finish is not there. That's what you find. They're good footballers, but it's that end product.
Well, they have a corner which will encourage the Odense support.
I hope they haven't spoke too soon.
So, some defending to do here for Stuart Taylor and co. Henrik Hansen will take it. John Carew covering that near post. Big Zat Knight there as well. Petrov. Agbonlahor. Burst of speed. Here is Ashley Young. Young wanted a free kick.
Looked like a foul to me, but that's what happens. You hear a lot of supporters saying we need some pace up front. That's why Agbonlahor turned a clearance into a goal opportunity there because of his pace. If you've got someone up there who can run, they can make chances out of nothing.
Chris Sorensen. Absalonsen. Might just get to this. Might be another corner. Craig Gardner sliding in.
Yeah, he's done well there, Gardner. And
I reckon it was out.
Whether it was over the line, but another dodgy decision by the look of it. I don't think all the ball was over. That looked like a corner to me. He's the best looking man on the pitch, the ref, anyway. Italians, they always
you think so, do you?
Yeah, not that I'm that way inclined.
Here is Absalonsen. Dismayed not to get a corner. You can see the second leg of this tie next Saturday from 4:45 on Satanda Sports 1. We will be at Villa Park. Andreasen.
Well, there was a little example of what you do against a diamond formation in midfield. You've got to keep switching the play quickly, and you've seen Sidwell ended up in his own corner flag there, chasing one of their players. Bouma got himself 1v1 with the right winger, and if they want to have any success in this game, they have to get hold of the ball in midfield and keep switching it from side to side and get 2v1s on Bouma and Gardner.
Young. Reo-Coker. Ashley Young. Steve Sidwell. Never quite had it under control. Bjorn Runstrom chasing this.
Well, that's another problem you have when you sit deep as a defence. You're winning the ball back on the edge of your own box all the time. Because your back four are not winning it on the halfway line, your strikers are having to run miles to get any service. If you're winning it on the halfway line, you're putting them in on goal, but your strikers end up moaning, we're too deep, we're not getting any service.
Bjorn Runstrom being closely watched by Zat Knight today, and they were actually teammates together at Fulham. This could be encouraging for Odense, and it's an own goal off Steve Sidwell. Sidwell bamboozled by that, and Odense have been gifted an equaliser.
Well, it's a bad luck finish from Sidwell, but it was an open goal for the attacker who went in, and this has been coming for a while down this side. They've got him behind him a couple of times now, and nothing's come of it. But this time it has, and Sidwell, he's where he should be, but he thinks the lad's going to score there. Takes his eye off it, catches his toe, goes in the corner. It's bad luck, but we might see a change in the game now.
Not sure what Hansen was doing for Odense, but he got lucky as it bounced off Steve Sidwell.
They look as if they're trying to play on Gardner a little bit. You know, he's not a right back, and while it's in front of him, he'll find it easy, but it's your positional play that you find difficult when you're not used to playing at fullback. Sometimes you haven't got the ammunition you need to play fullback. He's got no one in front of him because they're playing a diamond formation to help him.
Well, Odense buzzing a bit now, and Absalonsen is going to steer that back in. But here's Ashley Young. Espen Hansen. Helveg, and foul. Absalonsen. But they've just got to be careful here. Runstrom has just flicked that wide.
Yeah, he's unlucky. Another danger sign for Villa. Another cross coming in from the left wing. And that could have gone in. They've got a bit of encouragement from the goal, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Djemba-Djemba is going to come on for Odense, and it looks like Espen Hansen has a problem. And how ironic is this? Djemba-Djemba, who I think we can safely regard as a flop at Aston Villa, is going to come on to play against them, having only joined Odense this week.
Didn't I read somewhere he was having financial problems as well? Or was that someone else I'm thinking of?
May well have been.
I think he found himself in a bit of difficulty, but he'll have a point to prove.
Well, he spent 2.5 years at Aston Villa, but not so you really noticed. He only played 11 times for them. They signed him, of course, from Manchester United. That's where Espen Hansen picked up a knock. So on comes Djemba-Djemba, just 3 days after signing for Odense, and in a delightful twist of irony, he's facing his former club.
I must say, he doesn't look the picture of health to me. He's looks as if he's had a good summer. He'll need a few games to get him fit, probably 4 or 5. And he can only do that in games. He's probably pulled something Hansen there, and he's having to come off that early. Great game for Djemba-Djemba to play. He would have probably took the team talk today. He knows all about the Villa players, and he would have probably given them all an insight into what's happening. That's perhaps why Gardner's getting a bit of pressure on him at right back.
If he's not up for this one, he never will be. Runstrom on the receiving end. Here's Absalonsen. And John Carew is going to be in bother here. It's a yellow card from the goal scorer.
That's not the cleverest challenge he'll ever make. I mean, he's under pressure now. If he makes another one, stay on your feet. Why slide in? You know, the fella's going nowhere. He's just got to stay on his feet. Just usher him towards the touchline.
Hansen. Ashley Young guarding the edge of his own area. Foul. Absalonsen beaten to it by Gardner. Sorensen. Hansen, Absalonsen. It's a bit panicky for Villa. Absalonsen again, and Stuart Taylor forced into action.
Well, that's another chance from the left side again. There's another cross going in, and then another one coming up. I mean, Martin O'Neill will be thinking now, probably thinking, how am I going to stop this happening? He either says to Reo-Coker, come and play in front of Gardner, Petrov come over a little bit, Sidwell drop in, or he just carries on and see how it goes. I feel they've got to do something about it.
Well, the goal has certainly lifted Odense's spirits. An OG from Steve Sidwell, rather unfortunate on his competitive debut for Villa. Reo-Coker's cross. It was Helveg, who's 37 now, who stooped to conquer. Petrov. Laursen. Bouma. Away by Djemba-Djemba.
This is where Gardner has problems. Reo-Coker's done well and got back.
Reo-Coker brushing off Runstrom.
I think it's a vital learning curve this last year and probably this year for Gardner in his career. Playing at right back out of position with nobody playing in front of you in this formation. In the long term, it'll do him no end of good.
Stoyan Petrov. Villa on the back foot again. And that wasn't a very clever challenge at all from Ashley Young. There's a yellow card. He follows John Carew in the book.
There was no malice in the challenge. I think he's just got there. The centre forward makes such a meal of this. He's caught him on the foot, but he rolls over about 8 times. The crowd cheer, and the referee pulls the card out of his pocket straight away. But again, no need for Ashley Young to go on the floor. Carew's just done the same. He's seen that happen. When you go on the floor, you're always giving yourself a chance of getting booked.
Aston Villa a little rattled. Ashley Young and John Carew both yellow carded. Djemba-Djemba. Offside. Andreasen had strayed.
Yeah, Villa have just lost a bit of control of the game in the last 5 or 6 minutes, and they need to get hold of the ball again, start passing it and going pass through that midfield. You know, there's a lot of space between Odense's midfield and back four, and they need to try and penetrate through there and get Carew, laybacks, Agbonlahor in on goal.
Foul. Gardner. Always going for a challenge, Gardner. Here he is again. Sidwell seeking to burst into the box.
That was a great challenge from Gardner. He's right up the pitch where he's probably happier. And obviously, you know, he's obviously a good character because Martin O'Neill plays him there. And, you know, playing him out of position, he must think he's a good lad.
Carew has lost out to Djemba-Djemba. Hansen. Gardner. Free kick has gone in Odense's favour and against Agbonlahor, and you can see what Martin O'Neill thinks of that as he tangled with Anders Christensen.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. I think in the end he falls over Agbonlahor, and once again it was one of them 50-50 challenges.
Odense were pretty big in Denmark in the 70s and 80s when they won titles under Richard Muller Nielsen, who went on to guide Denmark to surprise glory in the 1992 European Championships.
must say the stadium's fantastic and the pitch is superb. The facilities are brilliant. To be honest with you, through my career, I've never seen him as a world force in football. I think Villa will be thinking, you know, we should put these away, really.
Well, it was looking reasonably comfortable for Villa. John Carew fired them into an early lead, but an OG from Steve Sidwell has levelled matters here at Fionia Park in Odense.
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, Villa just seem to have lost a bit of control. They just need to get hold of the ball, start passing it. They've stopped passing the ball to each other. Now they're sort of going from back to front. They were getting a bit of success early on, but they've got to pass, little 15-yard passes, try and cut through. They're outnumbered in midfield, Odense, and they need to use that.
Young's free kick is comfortably cleared. That Knight had come up, but he's not going to hang around. 10 minutes to go to half-time, and they're going to leave this for Bouma. Ashley Young.
Sidwell's in the box again. You know, they are getting bodies in the box, Villa, if they can just get some crosses in. Sidwell goes and Reo-Coker drops back in for him. Petrov goes, Sidwell drops in for Petrov. You know, they're sort of rotating lovely, but just need to get a grip of the game a little bit.
Bouma. It's taken by Onyszko. And he's not hanging about, straight up towards foul, but keeping a close check on him was Zat Knight. Gardner. Carew. Free kick for Odense.
In this situation, I'd be inclined to put Reo-Coker where he is now, in front of Gardner, and tell Agbonlahor to just play behind Carew and leave the one up there with him just behind and sort of suck him on top a little bit. Let him come to Villa, and then try and get Agbonlahor in and Young in them spaces. But at the moment, they've dropped right deep, and they seem to be containing Villa.
Aston Villa did go to Switzerland for a few days, racked up a few goals against FC Ville, but they were then beaten by FC Zurich. In the midweek they lost to Lincoln. They've got another friendly before the second leg. They go to Warsaw, not very far to go, on Tuesday. And the second leg at Villa Park on Saturday.
Well, they haven't got enough defenders, it's as simple as that.
Sorensen centre. Stuart Taylor made some sort of contact, but here is Andreasen. Bauma's going to slide in.
You know, any of these not playing, who are you putting in? And when you look at that bench, obviously Gareth Barry could play centre-back or left-back. He's not there.
Yes, they're hoping Curtis Davis will be back a little bit sooner than anticipated, and he certainly was sorely missed for the run-in last season.
Ashley Young's got to be careful now. That's another challenge. I think one more, he's in trouble. You know, once you've had a yellow card, you've got to say to yourself, I can't afford to put my foot in. I can't afford to miss time a tackle. Just stand up.
Odense asking questions again, and Craig Gardner knew there was a man behind him. Reo-Coker has to get stuck in, along with Gardner. And Reo-Coker will surely get a free kick.
Yeah, well done, Gardner. Well done, Reo-Coker. Two of them together, working as a team. Gardner gets the header away, and the two of them sprinted out to the ball to stop the cross coming back in. That's exactly what you want as a coach. That's 10 crosses they've got in, though, from this side. Too many.
Haaland. Knight won that. Djemba-Djemba lost it. And Agbonlahor for Young. Sidwell's getting in the box with Carew and Agbonlahor. Ashley Young needs some help and he gets it from Bouma. Reo-Coker. It's retreat by Gardner, and now Zat Knight. Just over 5 minutes left in this first half. Hansen. Sidwell. And it is a free kick. The Italian referee had a little think about it, but Petrov looked straight at him.
Petrov's a class act. If you can get the ball to him, and if he can run a game on his own, he's a class act. He's just not been in the game enough for me today so far, but there's always time.
Ashley Young then ready to float this free kick in, and it nearly went all the way. Spectacularly grabbed by Onyszko, but Laursen was in the hunt, as he often is, from set pieces.
Well, I've been impressed with Onyszko. He's, what he's had to do so far. I think he's done everything really well. I don't think he had a chance for the goal. He made a great save. Unfortunately for Villa there, it's bounced the wrong side of Laursen, because he's normally around where the ball is when it goes in from them set plays.
Helveg. And again, helped on by Hansen. Absalonsen. Sorensen in towards foul, and lifted over by Andreasen, but it was another chance for Odense, and they are causing a few moments of worry for Villa.
Yeah, and Martin O'Neill has changed things. Ashley Young is playing on the left now, and Reo-Coker on the right, so he has gone to a normal 4-4-2 to try and stop these crosses coming in. It's just a bit of a stalemate at the minute. That was a good chance, really. He's just his technique is not the same as Carew's. Carew's found the net.
Sidwell. Djemba-Djemba delighting the home fans. Absalonsen. Disappointing delivery, although not as far as Villa are concerned.
I've started counting now, though. I think that's 11 from this side. I'm sure at half-time they'll have to try and sort this out, and it's a matter of time before one of their players gets on the end of one of these crosses. From Villa's point of view, they started great, lost their way a little bit. The goal has knocked them back, and I would say they lost a little bit of discipline with the 2 yellow cards. They have to regroup and come out and try and fight their way back into this game.
Two minutes of this first half remaining. And the winners of this tie go into the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup, and if you get through that, you're in the UEFA Cup proper. Villa and Manchester City both having to take the long way around to get there, and funny enough, they meet on the opening day of the Premier League season at Villa Park.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier about when we played in it with Newcastle, the travelling has an effect on you. You're playing 15 games, that's a lot, obviously half of them away from home, and you're coming back late on Thursday, sometimes late Wednesday night, and then having the day off, and then you come in training on a Friday, you can't do a lot. Well, this route's a lot easier.
They must have picked up a few air miles though in the Intertoto Cup. Here's Djemba-Djemba, and now Hansen. Well, Villa will be quite glad to see half-time at this rate.
Yeah, they need to get in now. I think Odense looking more likely to score a goal, and that's a chance as well there. Laursen's backed off. It's just bobbled as he's hit it, to be fair to him. He's lifted it over the bar. He's made a bit of a difference. Sorry, he's made a bit of a difference. Djemba-Djemba, since he's come on, I mean, he's firmed him up in the middle of the pitch and getting his foot in.
Single minute of stoppage time. Odense will be pretty pleased with themselves. They weren't offering too much, but their equaliser has certainly changed the flow of the game. It's changed the picture considerably. The early evidence suggested it might turn into a bit of a stroll for Aston Villa, but it's been far from that now. As Bouma prepares to take this throw, 10 seconds remaining in this first half. In fact, not even that. Well, it was all going so well. Carew fired Villa into an early lead, but Odense were gifted an equaliser, an OG from Steve Sidwell, and that certainly made a difference to them. They picked things up and they asked some questions of Aston Villa. Sidwell marking his competitive debut with a rather unfortunate OG. So at half-time, it is Odense 1, Aston Villa 1.
Well,
do you feel empty? Is something missing in your life? And does August seem a very, very long way away? Well, don't worry. We've got something to help you. Across 6 football channels, see how your team is shaping up in our huge pre-season tour. With more football than ever before, kick off the new season with Satanta Sports.
They came to Earth in a spaceship named Dave. Now, the smallest people in the universe
Right foot, left foot.
are on one of the biggest adventures of the year. Meet Dave.
I like it. We're dancing.
Subaru's been here. And here. Subaru's been here. And here. But Subaru's never been here. Until now. The first passenger car in the world with a Boxer diesel engine. The Subaru Boxer Diesel. It's here.
Now here's a nice little surprise for you. Using a comparison site will not add any fees or commission to the price you end up paying. In fact, the prices MoneySupermarket.com show are completely transparent. Just another reason why we are the #1 price comparison site. MoneySupermarket.com, the price comparison site.
Give blood and you can save someone's life today. Please don't leave it to someone else. Type your postcode into blood.co.uk.
Once we knew we were starting a family, we decided to go organic by using Miracle Grow Organic Choice plant food. It's 100% chemical-free, and our plants grew twice as big the natural way. All natural and twice as big, kind of like me.
Everyone's favourite time of year again.
What do we reckon, eh?
Time for McDonald's summer menu. The chicken club sandwich, the summer supreme, and cheese melt dippers.
What's up? I can hear it.
Hello.
Hey man, how are you? It's me.
I spoke to Mum this morning. Hello, Moto.
Darts coverage continues throughout the summer with a whole host of exciting events. Next Saturday, the BDO come together again for the British Classic, and you can see it from 7:30 on Setanta Sports 1. Aston Villa are embarking on a European expedition, and it all started very well for them. They took an early lead here against Odense. Ashley Young almost scored. John Carew did, Dean.
Carew, he's Johnny on the spot. That's what all good goal scorers do. The ball seems to come to him in the 6-yard box. He's in there. He's anticipated it. It's an awkward one. He's leaning back. But
15 goals in the Champions League for his various clubs. Slumming it in the Intertoto. Well, Aston Villa look like they might add to John Carew's goal in the early stages. Agbonlahor with this opportunity.
He's trying to go onto his left foot, and that's a corner. The ref never give it, but it was a half a chance. This is an easy chance.
Yes, Sidwell could have marked his competitive debut with a goal. He did get one, but not the one that he wanted.
No, for Lampard and Gerrard, that's a goal for me.
Odense started to come back into it, and foul. The Senegalese striker was totally unmarked there, but he was a pretty poor header, really.
It was, and he has to loop that back over the keeper. The only way he scores there if it's a looping header that drops in the far corner, but most of their opportunities come down this side. Well, all of them, in fact.
And it's where the goal came from as well. Touch of fortune about it, and an OG for Steve Sidwell.
Well, too many cooks spoil the broth there. I mean, they got that many men in there, Villa. It's unlucky on Sidwell's part, but the lad should have scored there. And Sidwell thinks he's going to score, takes his eye off it, just hits him on the toe and goes in. Bad luck. These things happen.
And goals change games, as we know all too well, and that certainly gave Odense a massive boost, and they started to create a few chances, and come the end of the half, Villa perhaps pretty fortunate to still be level.
Well, you can't do anything about the cross. Reo-Coker sent him inside. He's crossed it with his right foot, but Zach Knight's got to get, as soon as he comes inside, he's got to get out of the box, and he's got to be right tight, close to that man. That was
Bjorn Runstrom, the former Fulham striker, not that he played much for Fulham, and then Absalonsen, who has seen plenty of the ball, tested Stuart Taylor.
Yeah, it's gone through Gardner's legs, that, and it's an easy save for the keeper, but it's another chance this left-hand side again, and Gardner's not doing a lot wrong. He just needs a bit more help. That goes through his legs. Sometimes these go in.
And another chance on just before half-time for Odense, and it was Hansen this time, and he might have done better.
Yeah, difficult volley, but what you have to try and do there is drop your left shoulder a bit lower and try and hit down on the ball, and he's not. He's hit up the ball, which is why it's gone over the bar.
Aston Villa with work to do here against Odense. Now then, the new Premier League season is coming soon on Setanta.
2 weeks in Benidorm's all I got. And now it's back.
Yeah! We kick off another fantastic Premier League season on Setanta Sports this August, with Sunderland against Liverpool, followed by Fulham v Arsenal, Chelsea at Wigan, and Arsenal again, this time trying to topple King Kev's Newcastle. Then in September, new bosses Hughes and Scolari face off as Chelsea go to Eastlands. Last year's epic encounter means Spurs against Villa should be a real cracker. September also sees Bolton v Arsenal and Premier League newcomers Hull face a daunting trip to the Emirates. In October, Old Trafford legend Paul Ince faces his former club as United travel to Ewood Park. Newly promoted West Brom visit the Theatre of Dreams later in the month. And keep your eye out for Newcastle against Man City and Blackburn v Borough. November gets off to a flyer with Spurs beat Liverpool. Then it's Newcastle against Villa, Liverpool versus West Brom. United go to Villa Park and Everton meet Wigan at the JJB. Wipe away the tears, girls. The Premier League is back on August the 16th.
I'm really gonna miss him.
Right now, Aston Villa hoping that it will lead them through to the UEFA Cup proper. They've got a couple of rounds to get through, and they've got a second half to get through here against the Danes of Odense. It's coming next.
Live and exclusive on Setanta, Kino Sunderland prepare for their Premier League campaign with a pre-season tour. First up, it's Sporting Lisbon from that other Stadium of Light. All starts this Sunday, 9:10, Setanta Sports 1.
All right, Tess, been practicing?
Oh, yes.
Good girl. Right, you ready for a duel?
I'm ready, bring it on.
Good luck. You're going to love this one. Have that!
Is that all you've got?
Oh, you dealt with that very well.
Take that! Pyrotechnics.
Where did that come from?
Yes!
That's the best one.
Victory!
No!
It's mine.
It wouldn't go out.
Beaten by a girl.
Guitar Hero, available for Nintendo DS.
To create our most powerful weed killer yet, we looked to nature. By taking an active ingredient found in plant cells, we created New Weedol Max, an advanced weed killer that shows visible results in hours. Unleash the power of nature with New Weedol Max.
TravelSupermarket.com compares the rates of over 100,000 hotels, over 50 car hire companies, and millions of flights, comparing quotes from online travel agents, tour operators, and budget and charter airlines.
Cool. We need to fly to Barcelona.
As soon as possible. TravelSupermarket.com compares the market in seconds, making it easy for you to choose the best deal. TravelSupermarket.com, the price comparison site.
Lane assist steering. Lightweight alloy sports suspension. And deploy.
Remember, difficult is worth doing.
Here's to the Great British Summer. Music festivaling, mixed mud wrestling, 14 degrees, knobbly knees, catching the rays, the big squeeze. Traffic jams, handheld fans, the hottest day since records began. Yes, we'll complain it's too hot, we'll moan when there's showers, but it's glorious, lovable, eccentric, magnificent, and ours. Bouma's cider, squeezing the best out of the British summer.
Do you know what this lot are doing? Working hard, earning money, that's what. They've got a Bradford & Bingley Rate for Life savings account that's guaranteed to stay competitive by tracking above the Bank of England base rate for life. So whatever their dream, they're busy making money to pay for it. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Exhausting, isn't it? Rest assured, savings work hard with Bradford & Bingley.
Distant subjects can't come to you. That's why Panasonic's new Lumix TZ series with Intelligent Auto has a 10 times optical zoom to take you closer to them. Panasonic.
Every evening at 9, the Open 2008 Highlights.
Oh, what a battle.
Bringing you all the drama from each day.
The new champion, Roy Harrington.
Highlights from both the Open and US Bank Championship. Tonight, 9 p.m. Setanta Sports.
Later tonight, there's live mixed martial arts action on Setanta Sports 1 at 2 a.m. as Seek and Destroy takes place in Minneapolis with middleweight champion Anderson Silva taking on James Irvin in a titanic light heavyweight bout. 2 a.m. on Setanta Sports 2. Aston Villa's Intertoto Cup tie started very well as John Carew rifled Martin O'Neill's men into the lead, but Steve Sidwell's own goal forced a major turnaround in this game and certainly boosted Odense's confidence, and they ended the first half very, very strongly. But Villa have had time now to regroup and refocus ahead of the second half here at Fionia Park. Odense's ground, which is on the island of Funen. You've got to start somewhere in Europe, but the route to the UEFA Cup proper via the Intertoto Cup not as long as it used to be. Martin Laursen knows these parts rather well, back in his homeland, and he will be hoping to steer Aston Villa safely through this second half. Second leg is at Villa Park next week, and Villa will be keen to get a grip of this first leg, having started it so well, Dean, but Odense are right back in it now.
Yeah, I would imagine Martin O'Neill will go in half-time, not too disappointed, but will be disappointed that they haven't kept the ball. They're a Premier League outfit, and they've not really put 5 passes together, really, of any sort of football, which I think now they have to start playing. Early on, the long ball seemed to trouble Odense, but once they got wise to it and dropped off, Villa now have to play some football, and you know they've got an away goal. So they can be reasonably happy with that, but the game's there to be won, really. I think if they just step it up, they'll win it.
Well, in the mid-90s, one of the early entrants in the Bordeaux went all the way to the final. Aston Villa would dearly love to repeat that feat. Djemba-Djemba came on in the first half of the injured Espen Hansen to face his former club. Djemba-Djemba only signed for Odense on Wednesday.
He's given him a bit of steel in the middle of the pitch. I think he's done well since he's come on. He knows how to play in midfield. He's a very experienced player. He's just standing in the middle of the pitch and picking knockdowns up and getting his foot in.
Aston Villa played in the Intertoto 3 seasons running at the start of this decade. Got through once to the UEFA Cup, but then were promptly knocked out by the Croatian side Vartex. They'll be hoping for more joy this time around. But they have a corner to defend here.
Yeah, dangerous. You've got to make sure you mark your man, don't let him score, because anybody can score from a corner.
Odense looking to make an impression at the start of the second half.
Well, there's an example of how they've sort of changed their philosophy a little bit. They're not letting Carew and Agbonlahor get hold of the ball now and come off them and turn with it. They're getting a lot tighter at the risk of giving fouls away, but it seems to be paying off for them.
Thomas Helveg, Danish international teammate of Martin Laursen for so long, and they were together at Milan. He won just the 108 caps.
Yeah, but that was at fullback. They don't count, do they? No, seriously, to get 108 caps for your country is unbelievable. There's not many done that.
Started to rain now after the early evening sun.
Vital that Villa don't concede from a set play now. Have to just pick up and do your job properly. Don't knock off, don't lose concentration.
That Knights moving in front of Craig Gardner. Here is Bjorn Runstrom, who only played a couple of times in his 2 years at Fulham. He was loaned out to Luton. And a bright start to the second half for Odense. They're carrying on from where they left off in the first half. Hansen's corner, and Stuart Taylor gets a free kick. Alti-Roar Haaland considered to have impeded him.
Yeah, it was a foul, and that's what he's there for, to try and get away with conceding a foul, really. That's your job, try and put the goalkeeper off, but well done the referees, give the right decision. And hopefully now Villa can get out of their own half, because you quite easily concede from these set plays. That's 3 in the first 2 minutes.
On by Sidwell for Reo-Coker, and now Gardner. Free kick for Odense. Aston Villa yet to really get going in this second half.
No, and Gardner's found himself at this end of the pitch now. Reo-Coker's got to fill in for him and go to right back, so he hasn't got to run the length of the pitch. But Petrov's actually done it this time, which is good play from him as well.
Villa hopeful of making it into the UEFA Cup for the first time in 7 years. John Carew's offside. Remember, Carew and Young both booked in the first half. His foul, and away by Knight. Bouma. Ashley Young giving away another free kick, and on that yellow card.
Walking a tightrope, Ashley. Walking a tightrope, son. That's 3. Martin O'Neill's got to have a word with him. That's a good challenge from Zach Knight. Timely challenge. Gets that wrong, it's a penalty.
Free kick's been given the other way.
Oh yeah, unbelievably. But the referee's got about 4 or 5 of them wrong now, so he needs to improve.
Odense threatening again with Absalonsen. And Stuart Taylor forced to make that save, but here is foul, and it's hit the outside of the post, but that was another scare for Aston Villa. Odense really coming into their own.
Well, it's a great strike. He's got that on the outside of his left foot and struck it really well. Taylor's slippery, the ball's slippery, so Taylor's made a good stop initially, and that's a great save. That's going in. It's the outside of the post, but that was going in if he hadn't got it, so well done Taylor's. 2 good saves that. Once again, down that left side.
Hansen's corner, and Taylor didn't clear it very far, and it's been cleared off the line. Gardner was there with Young, and Andreasen very nearly put Odense in front.
Well, young Gardner saves the day again there. Look, headed off the line, he's in the right place. Taylor obviously not as commanding as he should have been. He's got to punch that to the edge of the box.
Villa toiling a little, but Taylor will grab that and offer Villa a bit of respite, but Lars Olsen, the Odense coach, will be delighted with the way his team are going about their business now.
Well, football amazes you. I like to think that I wasn't the only one thinking Villa were going to run away with this once they scored. At 5 minutes after they scored, they looked like they could get 2 or 3, but it comes to this. Gardner heading the ball off the line to stop them going behind. Incredible.
Djemba-Djemba hoisting that towards foul. Gardner's flick. Runstrom. Djemba-Djemba. Christensen. Helveg. Foul. Andreasen. Steve Sidwell steps in for Villa, but they still can't clear it, and here's Helveg. Absalonsen. Zach Knight commanding figure. Sorensen again. It's hard work this for Aston Villa at the moment. No doubt about it.
Well, there's actually panic setting in now. I mean, Laursen's clearance there was poor. He just kicked it anywhere. Bouma's ending up just kicking it anywhere. Villa have got to get their way through this and try not to concede a goal. I'm sure they'll come out the other side of it, but at the moment they could quite easily concede a goal if they're not careful.
Lars Olsen, their coach, captained Denmark to European Championship glory in 1992.
He was a great player, calmest man on the pitch every time he played.
Carew, away by Christensen. Aston Villa are about to offer something, maybe. Martin O'Neill certainly hopes so.
One thing's certain, if you don't work hard, you don't play for Martin O'Neill, so at least he knows he's going to get that out of his players.
Ashley Young. No foul. Foul. Here they go again, Odense. And it's a familiar route down that left-hand side with Absalonsen. Can Gardner keep him occupied? Not really, and foul came in, and Laursen jumped with him.
Wow, what a cross. That is the centre-forward's dream. Gets to the byline. What a cross. Tremendous header from Bouma. Whether he's got his head on it, he's done enough anyway. He's got some body contact, great marking. But where was Reo-Coker in that incident there? He wasn't in the picture. Gardner again, once again, on his own.
Hansen then will take this. Easy clearance that time. Sliced by Carew.
Well, that's the way it's going. That's about 4 clearances on the trot now, and Villa can more or less say are on the rack a little bit. I know I'm going on about it, but if you were to add up the amount of balls that have come into Villa's box from that left-hand side of the pitch, we wouldn't be far off 20.
Well, he's been looking for a right back for a while, Martin O'Neill. The Villa fans will be pretty pleased when one finally arrives.
But I wouldn't go as far as to say it's Gardner's fault. You know, he's a midfield player playing right back. He's not been skinned. You know, the lads put a great ball in there, but he's just getting outnumbered. So I wouldn't say it was all down to him. I think he needs someone, whether Petrov comes across and helps him, because he's sitting in front of the defence. He might be seeing danger and thinking, I'm going to go across and help the young boy. I know Makaleli would have been over there helping him. That's the other side of that position you play in.
Odense haven't had too many European adventures, but in the mid-90s they did get to the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup and amazingly beat Real Madrid on the way. They were 3-2 down going into the second leg in the Bernabeu, 1-2-0. And the man who scored the second goal right at the end of that game was Morten Bisgaard, who's now back at the club after a few seasons at Derby. And he's amongst the Odense subs. Bouma. Well, it was a decent strike, and it forced Onyszko to turn it away.
Great strike once again, Onyszko. I think it was just going wide, but he made sure he didn't parry it into the middle of the goal. He's done the right thing, technically sound.
Ashley Young's corner. Oh, and Carew. But no takers as it flashed across that 6-yard box.
Yeah, a bit of rain on the ball. It's just skimmed off his head there. He didn't get enough on it. Didn't have a lot of conviction, I don't think, to score. Shut his eyes a little bit there, but if he gets that on target, it's probably a goal. But what do you do if you're Martin O'Neill now? You know, I'm not the manager, but I would drop Reo-Coker in front of Gardner, and I would tell Agbonlahor to just play behind Carew in the middle of the pitch, and let's try and bring him onto us a little bit and nip a goal in on the break. But that's why I'm sat here, and Martin O'Neill sat on the side of the pitch.
Odense again with Hansen, Runstrom. It's not the worst from Runstrom, and it might yet drop for Christensen. Stuart Taylor will safely gather that. Thomas Helveg returned it into his box.
Well, they're not sitting back accepting a draw. I think they're trying to win the game as well, so which you'd expect them to. But Villa have got to play a bit more football than they're playing at the moment. The pitch is perfect. There's a bit of normally at this time of the year the pitches are slow and dry. There's water on the pitch, so there's no excuse for not knocking it about. They've got a team full of footballers, and they don't seem to be getting a grip of the game and passing it from A to B and getting any sort of pressure on this Odense team.
Hansen, and this could be ominous for Villa. Absalonsen again, and the Odense fans can't believe the way this game has turned around after Villa controlled the opening quarter.
Well, I know I'm getting fed up with saying it, so I don't know where the listeners are getting fed up with me saying it, but once again Gardner's on his own again, getting taken on. Yeah, that's why you have captains out there. Your extension as a manager, they've got to take responsibility.
Hansen's corner, pretty poor, but he'll get a second chance to deliver. Wasn't very good either. Almost an hour played. Villa toiling. Sorensen. Djemba-Djemba.
See, out on that right-hand side, you've got Reo-Coker, who's a centre midfield player, and you've got Gardner, who's a midfield player as well. And half the battle is getting the right starting position and being in the right place at the right time. And that stops the pass even getting there. So that's where they'll find it short, not effort. That's where they'll struggle.
Agbonlahor trying to get in. Plenty of pre-season action on Setanta, and Celtic are in the Algarve playing a tournament there. You can see them face Middlesbrough Tuesday, 9:25. Setanta Sports 1. Oh, here they are on the left-hand side again. Absalonsen, and foul, rising.
Another cross. Well, it's a good marking in the box, and that's all you can expect there. If you watch Laursen at the bottom of the pitch, he's looking over his shoulder. He's got his centre forward, and he does enough to put him off. You don't want any free headers at this stage. That's Larsen's header, by the way. Great defending.
Reo-Coker.
Now you see, Reo-Coker's found himself in the middle of the pitch, and he's struggling to get back across in his position in front of Gardner. That's what happens. They wander off out of position, and he leave the right back on his own. Two strikers not getting any service at the moment, Carew and Agbonlahor. You know, you'd like to think if you can get the ball to them two, they could destroy this back four, but they're not getting enough of the ball. Luke Young's not getting enough of the ball, and Villa in the middle of the pitch have got to get a grip of the game. Petrov and Sidwell have got to get a grip of the ball. They're not seeing the ball either. And you've got to say, Odense are the better team at the minute.
Djemba-Djemba. Helveg. Once again, it's that familiar route. It's Absalonsen. And Petrov stopped it reaching Hansen.
Well, the accident hasn't happened, but it's, you know, we were saying ages ago it's an accident waiting to happen, but they still haven't managed to score from it, but they're down that side again.
Another cross on that side, but it's eluded foul. Agbonlahor has got away, and this could be very promising. Carew waiting, and Agbonlahor didn't seem to know what to do and dithered, and all he's got is a corner.
Well, I don't blame Agbonlahor there. Carew's not done enough for me. He gets in, make his mind up for him now, Carew. You either go in and pull right out so it's obvious, or you come out and go in. And he's ended up waiting, go on, where are you going to run, where are you going to wear? And it's Agbonlahor, looks as if he's made the wrong decision, but for me, it was Carew's fault.
Ashley Young then will take this corner. It's a rare Villa attack in this second half. It doesn't really come to much. Now Runstrom. Djemba-Djemba. Djemba-Djemba, not one of Sir Alex Ferguson's more inspired signings for Manchester United. And of course he spent a couple of years at Villa as well, hardly playing. Signed by David O'Leary and hanging around long once Martin O'Neill came in.
No, he's tackling from the wrong side there. I say tackling from the wrong side, there's no need to put your foot in. He's just got to get tight with him, Zach Knight. You risk giving a foul away, but at least he's tight. He's not letting the centre forward come off him and turn. You do give fouls away doing that sometimes.
Hansen leaves it. Sorensen in, away by Gardner. Absalonsen back.
Good defending from Gardner. And fair play to the lad, you know, his attitude's spot on. He's doing everything that he's capable of doing. Once again, I've got to say, he just needs some help. I mean, I'm sitting here and I feel like doing something about it myself, but too far away.
You can't. It's come off Gardner. Just a throw. Haaland. Agbonlahor now with Ashley Young. Agbonlahor again. Bouma. Agbonlahor. Ashley Young took a nick, and it will be a corner which Young himself will take.
Yeah, it's a definite corner, but that's more like it. I counted 8 passes there where they've knocked it about and passed the moves. If they keep doing that, they'll create openings against these teams. Some of these players are not far off amateurs.
The Italian referee wants a word. Knight and Eric Djemba-Djemba. Ashley Young then, and Martin Laursen in the thick of the action. And Knight frustrated, just about everyone frustrated as far as Villa are concerned.
I've got an interesting story about Zach Knight, actually. I was playing for Benfica. And we were training one day, and he came out on the training pitch as a 16-year-old, I think, 17-year-old. He'd come over on trial, and he joined in training with us. He was that big then. And Benfica never signed him. He went back and ended up at Fulham, but that was the first time I remember watching him play for Fulham and thinking, I know that face.
Here's Absalonsen. That's cannoned off Gardner. Reo-Coker. Agbonlahor. Nothing doing. We're into the final quarter, and it's become a little arduous for Villa.
Yeah, they mustn't concede a goal now. I mean, if it finished 1-1, it's a good result. It's not a great result, but it's a good result. They go back to Villa Park, and you'd fancy them odds on to beat this team. If they concede a goal now, disastrous result. Still can be retrieved, but it's not. It's a disaster.
I wonder if Aston Villa might be able to give Brad Friedel his debut in that second leg next week. His arrival appears imminent. Of course, they've already brought in one American keeper, the younger version, Brad Guzan. He's not got his work permit yet.
Well, one thing I'm sure of, Brad Friedel, I mean, I played with Brad, and I was coaching him at Blackburn. He's a great goalkeeper, probably the best goalkeeper in the league's had for the last 5 or 6 years.
Agreed.
He talks, which is his biggest asset, and he doesn't make that many mistakes. He saves the shots he should save, and he doesn't make many howlers. Great signing for Villa.
Agbonlahor was held back then, but the referees let it go, and here's Haaland. Absalonsen up against Gardner. Reo-Coker. Pretty aimless. Djemba-Djemba. Flag was up for offside against Agbonlahor.
If you notice over this side of the pitch, Wilfried Bouma, experienced international player. When the ball's arriving at the right winger, he's arriving at the same time. That's the difference. When you get a bit older, you know exactly how to deal with them type of situations.
20 minutes to go. Andreasen. Sorensen. Hoisted away by Bouma. Djemba-Djemba. Helveg. Djemba-Djemba there again.
He's done well, Djemba-Djemba. There's another bit of good play from him. Experience.
Only played 11 times in the Premier League for Aston Villa, Eric Djemba-Djemba. Haaland. Haaland hurt. Runstrom chasing this. Sam Knight, though, able to deal with it. And now Craig Gardner. Hansen. Sorensen for Djemba-Djemba. Villa get the throw.
Look a bit tired now, Villa. I've got to say they're not getting out to the ball, sinking into their own box, not really getting out and meeting their midfield players when the ball's like Djemba-Djemba's simple pass there. He's sprayed it across the pitch. There's no pressure on the ball. You're asking for trouble. You either get some fresh legs on, or a rollicking gets sent out onto the pitch. Come on, get out of the way. Get out of the box. Get it 15 yards up the pitch.
A reminder, Villa fans, that Marlon Harewood is on the bench, so to Sean Maloney and Wayne Routledge, Mustafa Salifou, Isaiah Osbourne, and a couple of youngsters, Nathan Baker and young keeper Elliot Parish. Harewood, perhaps the most likely to be seen at some stage. Bouma. Young. It's come off Young.
At the risk of being ultra controversial, Mr. Lerner, who's obviously bought the club off Doug Ellis, I thought had a bottomless pit when he bought the club, and I've yet to see any evidence, to be honest with you.
Well, it's going to be a big few weeks ahead for Martin O'Neill, desperate to bolster his squad. It was the smallest in the Premier League last season. Never had a right back, not for one anyway. Steve Sidwell has arrived, Brad Guzan too, Brad Friedel about to. But there will have to be a...
And they've got great support. If you get a team on the pitch that's playing attacking football with the likes of Young and Agbonlahor supply the ammo of them players, Aston Villa could get, if the stadium was big enough, they'd get 60,000 there, and they should be in the top 4. It's a great club.
Is Ashley Young? Oh, it's flicked in by Young and Steve Sidwell. Almost.
It was the same chance as he scored from. He's put that one wide. Well, that's going in. I think if he doesn't touch that, goalie might have saved it. It would have gone in the corner. He seemed to come off the top of his foot and he's hooked it away from the goal. But it's a great run from him. You've got to say, great ball, great run.
Helveg. Aston Villa's finest hour and a half in Europe came in 1982, of course, when they won the European Cup. The referee thought about giving a free kick for a foul on Young. Now he has given one for a foul on Agbonlahor.
Yeah, he's got a few wrong, got a few right, but that, you know, this is a good opportunity for Villa. Come on, Zach Knight, 6'6". Get the right delivery and just get your head on this.
A quarter of an hour remaining. Potentially a key moment in this match. Ashley Young will float it in, and it's been put in by Martin Laursen. And wouldn't you just know it, he scores in his homeland, and Martin O'Neill's Aston Villa have had to weather a bit of a storm here, but they are in front.
And that'll do nicely. Brave as a lion. He's going to get clattered there. He's got one thought in his mind, the ball. I think the goalie might have lost his bottle on the way out there, because really in that situation he's got a clash with Laursen, but Larsen's braver than him. I said Zach Knight, but Laursen once again comes up and trumps for Villa. That's as brave a header as you'll see. Great goal.
Terrific from Martin Laursen, up against some of his pals today, playing in his home country. Aston Villa's Player of the Year last season has got them out of the hole at the start of this season. Well, he was at AC Milan when they won the Champions League, Martin Laursen. And the response from Lars Olsen is to make a change, and he's going to bring on the Costa Rican international, Christian Bolanos, who played in the World Cup in 2006. It looks like it might be Bjorn Runstrom to come off.
Well, Laursen, he done that so many times last season for Villa, and he's carried on. And you know, there's an example to any young centre back, or any centre back actually, that goes up and is sent up for set plays. One thought in your mind, that's keeping your eye on the ball. Once you start having a peep at the goalkeeper because you think you're going to take one, that's when you don't get on the end of them, and that's just fizzled out. They've got down that side and it's fizzled out, and hopefully that's knocked the stuffing out of this team, and Villa raise the game a yard.
Scored 6 goals last season, Martin Laursen. He's already come up with a A vital contribution this season to the Villa cause. The former Fulham striker Bjorn Runstrom is replaced then. On comes the Costa Rican Bolanos. Had a trial with Liverpool a few years ago and also nearly joined Charlton.
He's done okay. You can say he's took part in the game. He stamped his personality on the game today, and he's done well. So you know, these things have to be done at this stage of the game. 2-1's no good to them.
Djemba-Djemba. Young.
I'd take him off now, I would, before there's any chance of him getting sent. He's such an important player for him. It's only a mistimed tackle there. And strikers are clumsy when they're challenging.
He's done quite well though, because he's got the free kick.
Yeah, but he's at the risk. You know, Carew, I think, is a bit more experienced and won't make the challenge, but Ashley Young's liable to get sent off.
Young will take it then, and it nearly carried in again. Carew and was hopeful of a flick.
What a save. That's a fantastic ball in. A great header. Or was it a header? I think it's come off his arm. But the keeper's kept his eye on the ball. He could have been distracted, but it's another good save. I think the keeper's done well tonight.
Aston Villa will be rather relieved if they do leave Denmark with a victory. It's going to be a hard-earned one, and if it does turn out that way. Young tries again. Christensen met it. Zat Knight returns it.
His delivery's been excellent, Ashley Young tonight. That's another good corner. But them 2 free kicks he's hit, more or less undefendable.
See the second leg at Villa Park next Saturday. It's a 5:15 kick-off, but we start at 4:45. Aston Villa against Odense, and remember, if Villa get through this round of the Intertoto Cup, they go into the second qualifying round of the UEFA Cup. If they get through that, they're in the competition proper.
Good goalkeeping from Taylor there, decisive. Obviously shouted keeper and come all the way for it. Well done.
Djemba-Djemba. Craig Gardner will retrieve that into the last 10 minutes. Bouma. Odense have come back once before. Can they do it again? Not like that.
Well, Aston Villa now, there's 10 minutes to go. Give it injury time on top. They have to pass the ball, play 2-touch. I mean, Bouma's hit a straight ball up the channel there to Agbonlahor. It's in his chest and there's someone nipping it off him. They've got to pass the ball into midfield, out across the back, out to the right, back into midfield, wait for an opportunity to keep the ball off him.
Steve Sidwell's game is over. He's been replaced by Wayne Routledge, and they're showing us his OG again on his competitive debut. Wayne Routledge, who came from Spurs in January, was injured, didn't make his debut until April, and that was only a few minutes in the sub. Villa on the prowl again with Agbonlahor, and it was Haaland who got a touch.
Oh, it's just pace, pace, and more pace. It's just lucky Haaland there. He's got his toe in. If that ball rolls a yard further forward, that's a toe poke through the keeper's legs or across the keeper.
By the way, can't believe it wasn't a corner.
Well, how many of them been tonight? There must have been 4 or 5.
9 or 10 maybe.
You know, the referee's not had a particularly good game. He's not had any major penalty incidents or sending-offs to make.
Probably just as well.
It's time, though.
Foul. Laursen in the way.
That's where Laursen looks a bit vulnerable, when you get him stopped, twisting and turning there. Which most centre-backs struggle in that situation.
Djemba-Djemba. Miscue from Reo-Coker, but Villa got away with that. This is Chris Sorensen. Bolanos. That night can clear that. Helveg. His foul. Andreasen's effort is blocked, but it's going to spin away for a corner. Not what Villa wanted to see.
There's a difference in standards there. Foul just didn't have enough in his locker to get that shot off. If that's Thierry Henry, or another Premier League striker, they end up getting that shot off.
Chris Sorensen then will take this corner. And Hansen steps in. It's by no means been straightforward for Aston Villa, anything but. However, 2-1 victory would do nicely to take into that home leg next Saturday. Here's Hansen though, with room to shoot.
Where's Petrov? That's what his job is all about. He's got pulled over to that side of the pitch. That's a free shot at goal, 20 yards out, 25 yards. You see them flying. Someone's got to get closer to him.
He's making his debut today, actually, Hansen for Odense, only joined last week. Danish league starts this week. Agbonlahor.
Yellow card's got to be.
We'll get a free kick this time, and it's going to be a yellow card for Anders Christensen.
But to be fair, he's done the right thing. I know it sounds a bit cynical, but he's in on goal, and as a defender, what do you do? He's outside the box, take a yellow card. It's pace again, though. Same situation. Can he supply the right cross again? He's been fantastic so far, and can Laursen or Zach Knight or Carew get on the end of this, or I think he might just have a shot.
Ashley Young again, he does go for it this time, but Onyszko right behind it.
Yeah, well done, Onyszko, good handling. Carew's there, if he drops it, who's there to poke it in for his second? Carew.
Sorensen, Djemba-Djemba, Helveg, away by Laursen. Now this could be promising. Carew, Onyszko there again.
These two, for me, two good players, Carew and Agbonlahor, very difficult to play against, but they don't put each other in enough. They should be playing with each other a bit more, putting each other in, get it back, you know, linking up with each other.
Carew. Gardner. Corner. Martin O'Neill.
He's done some
Celtic
running.
to the UEFA Cup final back in 2003 when he lost to Jose Mourinho's Porto. Now he would like to repeat the feat, take Aston Villa all the way.
Sorry, you know, I was just going to say Gardner's done some running tonight, both ends of the pitch, mostly his own end, but fair play to the lad, he looks as fit as anybody.
Another corner for Ashley Young, and Laursen's there again, and he nearly scored again. Well, that would have finished Odense off, and it would have been one of their own. The great Dane, Martin Laursen, in the Villa ranks.
Great cross, great header, great save.
Offside against Ashley Young.
And this time, Carew was a yard short of the rebound. A defender got there before him, but it's a great save. But his delivery again, Ashley Young. I told you they should have took him off a long time ago. That's a fantastic header. One-handed save, great strong wrist. Where's Carew?
It's done well, Odense's Polish keeper. They have a good few keepers coming out of Poland these days.
Well, on this performance, you know, he looks very capable indeed. I'm sure there'll be a few people watching this game. Find out a bit more about him.
Hansen. Haaland. Helveg. Free kick.
Looked a dive to me. Oh, he had him. He pulled his arm, but then Djemba-Djemba's tried to make sure he got the free kick by Dying Swan.
Tad theatrical. It's foul. Oh, and there could be an equaliser. And there is. It's Christensen. It's 2-2. Aston Villa caught out right at the end. They've let it slip again in the Intertoto Cup.
Well, they've sunk right back nearly on the penalty spot there. Too deep. Whether it's tiredness or there's no one marshalling at the back, when that ball goes back towards the other team's goal there, they've got to get out. They've sunk right back onto the penalty spot, flick on, and the lad can't miss from there. What you want him to be doing is shooting from the edge of the box. The goalie's got a chance, but once you sink back into the box and a little knockdown, it's a great strike. Goalie's got no chance though. I mean, that's a terrible goal to give away with a minute to go.
Aston Villa pegged back for the second time tonight in Denmark. Anders Muller Christensen. We've got 2 minutes of stoppage time.
If they'd have just cleared the box there, Ian, that flick on would have dropped in the D, which your goalkeeper saves that shot. But from there, he's got no chance. That's why defences have to get up.
Odense looking for a winner. They would have felt hard done by had they not got something out of this game.
No, you're right, they've deserved it.
Carew able to keep going. Djemba-Djemba. It will make for an intriguing second leg at Villa Park, and you can see it with us on Setanta next Saturday. A bit more intriguing than Aston Villa would have liked. Here's Ashley Young though, and Carew toiling a bit.
Yeah, he's worked hard tonight though. Him and Agbonlahor worked really hard together. Not had a lot of service. But in this situation here, I know it's difficult because you're tired, it's at the end of the game. Every time the ball gets passed backwards, your back four have to step up.
Young.
Now, step up. They should be up the pitch now.
The 2 minutes of stoppage time almost up. Lars Olsen, some player in his day, and he'll be impressed with the way his team played against Aston Villa. They did deserve something out of the game, in all fairness. Christensen snatched a late equaliser, Villa twice ahead. But it was tricky for them in Denmark, and these two teams will go into the second leg all square. Martin Laursen thought he'd won it for Villa. He hadn't quite, scoring in his homeland. Work to be done in the second leg at Villa Park next week, but Villa will still be favourites. It has finished. Odense 2, Aston Villa 2. Well, Well, it all started so well for Aston Villa. They made a pretty good start and were in front early on, and there was a feel in the opening stages that Villa could actually score a few, but that soon changed, of course.
Well, yeah, they were on the ropes. This is a great goal. I mean, it's sloppy from their point of view. They've not had anybody go to the thrower. Cross has come in. Ash Young's in a great spot. Great goal. And looked like Villa were going to get 2 or 3.
Well, there was a touch of fortune about the equaliser for Odense, and a touch of misfortune for Steve Sidwell.
Yeah, misfortune, but if you get crosses in from the byline, that's what you aim to do. These things happen. You know, you've got Sidwell running back towards his own goal. He's not seen the ball late. Goal.
Martin Laursen might have dreamt of that moment back in his homeland. He put Aston Villa in front.
Great delivery, brave as a lion, goes and puts his head in where others wouldn't. Brilliant.
But Villa caught out in the last minute of the 90.
Well, they've sunk too deep there. Little knockdown. 8 yards goal, he's got no chance. Whether it's tiredness or someone wasn't commanding things, but it's not a disaster, 2 each.
Well, there's plenty of pre-season action on Setanta. You can see Sporting Lisbon against Sunderland tomorrow at 9:10 on Setanta Sports 1. Hertha Berlin against Liverpool is on Setanta Sports 2, Tuesday at 6:40. And we are with Manchester United in South Africa. They take on the Orlando Pirates, Tuesday 7 on Setanta Sports 1. And you can see the second leg of Aston Villa against Odense from Villa Park next Saturday, 4:45 on Setanta Sports 1. They are tied together at 2-2 after this first leg in Denmark. Good night.
I ain't faking this, I ain't freaking, I ain't faking this, I ain't freaking, I ain't faking this, shut up and let me go, hey! Oh, love, hold this.
The Renault Koleos. 4x4 outside, Renault inside.
To create our most powerful weed killer yet, we looked to nature. By taking an active ingredient found in plant cells, we created new Weedol Max, an advanced weed killer that shows visible results in hours. Unleash the power of nature with new Weedol Max.
Hello.
Hey man, how are you? It's me.
Say, I spoke to him this morning.